heat and temperature, temperature and kinetic energy, specific heat, applications of specific heat, and determination of specific heat of a solid experimentally. This is a very important experiment. We are using principle of method of mixtures to determine the specific heat of a solid. Change of state. In the change of state we can see evaporation, condensation, boiling, melting and freezing. These are the sub concepts we are going to deal with that in this session. Okay. Now, let us discuss what is heat. Heat is a form of energy. The SI unit of heat is joule and the CGS unit of heat is calorie. The relation between the calorie and joule is 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joules. Okay. 1 calorie is equal to 4.186 joules. Okay. Now, let us discuss what is temperature. The degree of hotness or coldness. The degree of hotness or coldness. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. The temperature in Kelvin is equal to 273 plus temperature in degree Celsius. That means we are converting the temperature from Kelvin to Celsius. In the examination they will ask you to convert the Kelvin into degree Celsius or degree Celsius into Kelvin. Let us take an example. If the temperature of the steel rod is 330 Kelvin, what is its temperature in degree centigrade? That means we have to subtract 330 minus 273, we shall get the 27 degrees centigrade. Now, let us discuss what is thermal equilibrium. That means the heat transfers from a hot body to the cold body, already we know, no? That means up to how much extent it will flow, it attains a common temperature. That means the heat transfers from hot body to cold body until it attains a common temperature. That means when it attained a common temperature, there will be no transfer of heat, no heat flow. That means the temperature is constant. That means here you can see hot body, cold body, the heat is transferring from hot body to the cold body. Likewise, in the examination they will ask you, if a body is at a temperature of A is at 45 degrees and B is at 45 degrees, and what is thermal equilibrium? AB are in thermal equilibrium, A is at 45 degrees and B is at 45 degrees. Okay? You have to expect that there is no heat flow and the temperature is constant. Okay. Now, let us discuss about a mass. Let us take a test tube. In the test tube, a liquid of mass m1 is there at a temperature T1, and let us take a test tube second test tube. In this test tube, in the second test tube, there is a mass of liquid m2 at a temperature T2. If you mix these two test tubes in a single test tube, what will be the resultant temperature? That means the mass will be m1 plus m2, and the first liquid is at temperature T1 and the second liquid is at temperature T2. What is the resultant temperature? Now, for determination of that one, we can use the formula final temperature of the mixture is equal to, that means T is equal to m1 T1 plus m2 T2 by m1 plus m2. In the examination, they will ask you what would be the final temperature of 50 grams of water at 20 degrees centigrade temperature and of water at 40 degrees centigrade, that is 50 grams, what is the resultant temperature? Then which formula we have to use? T is equal to m1 T1 plus particles will evaporate and medium energy particles will be pulled back into water and the low energy particles remain as liquid. That means the water particles present in the liquid continuously they will give the energy to the particles which are escaping from the surface. This is a surface phenomena. So, evaporation should be it is a cooling process. That's why evaporation is a cooling process. Also in the examination they will ask you. In this session we discussed about what are the applications of specific heat, and now we are discussing about the change of state. We started to learn about the change of state, and let us discuss about in the after break we can learn about what is evaporation and what is boiling and what are the differences between these two phenomena. Okay.
లాక్డౌన్ సమయంలో అందుబాటులో ఉండే అత్యవసర సేవలు, నిత్యావసర వస్తువులను అందించే రేషన్ దుకాణాలు, ఆహార పదార్థాలైన పళ్ళు, కూరగాయలు విక్రయించే దుకాణాలు తెరిచి ఉంటాయి. అలాగే పాలు, పాల ఉత్పత్తులను అందించే డైరీలు, మాంసం, చేపలు, పశుగ్రాసం విక్రయించే కేంద్రాలు అందుబాటులో ఉన్నాయి. బ్యాంకులు, బీమా కార్యాలయాలు, ఏటీఎం సెంటర్లు అందుబాటులో ఉన్నాయి. నిత్యావసర వస్తువులతో పాటు ఆహార పదార్థాలు, మందులు, వైద్య పరికరాలు ఈ-కామర్స్ ద్వారా సరఫరా చేసే సదుపాయం కల్పించారు. పెట్రోల్ బంకులు, ఎల్పీజీ, పెట్రోలియం, గ్యాస్ ఏజెన్సీ అవుట్లెట్లు అందుబాటులో ఉన్నాయి. ఆసుపత్రులు, ఔషధ దుకాణాలు, వైద్య పరికరాలు అందించే దుకాణాలు, ల్యాబ్లు, క్లినిక్లు, నర్సింగ్ హోంలు, అంబులెన్స్లు అందుబాటులో ఉన్నాయి. అలాగే టెలికమ్యూనికేషన్స్, ఇంటర్నెట్ సేవలు, ప్రసార మాధ్యమాలు, కేబుల్ సర్వీసులు అందుబాటులో ఉన్నాయి.
Children, already we learned about evaporation, no? I think you understood the phenomena of evaporation. Evaporation is a surface phenomena. The particles are escaping from the surface of the water, whereas boiling is the bulk phenomena. That we have to note down that one. Okay? Now let us see here what is there. The differences between evaporation and boiling. Evaporation will take place at any temperature. Just if they ask you the differences between boiling and evaporation and some sort of differences, first of all you have to write down the differences. The definition you can write: boiling, the process of conversion of liquid to gas at the boiling point only. Here evaporation, the process of conversion of liquid to gas at any temperature. This is a quick process and this is a slow process, and this is the boiling is the bulk phenomena and evaporation is the surface phenomena. Here the temperature remains constant, because why? Because this is the change of state at the boiling point. Only water means 30 degrees centigrade. That means 30 plus 273. If they will ask you the boiling point of water in Kelvin also, then 100 plus 273, 373 also you have to write. Okay? At constant temperature, the temperature remains constant, but whereas in evaporation the temperature may change. Here the thermal energy supplied by an energy source, here the thermal energy supplied by the surroundings. From the surroundings only it will take the energy during evaporation. Now this is a very important question. Children, you have to practice thoroughly the differences between evaporation, boiling and evaporation. Boiling takes place at the boiling point only, evaporation takes place at any temperature, and thermal energy is supplied by an energy source. Here the thermal energy is supplied by the surroundings. Here in boiling the temperature remains constant. In evaporation temperature may change. Likewise you have to see here in boiling there will be bubbles, the water will evaporate like in the form of bubbles, it will go up, no? While in the evaporation there will be no bubbles also. Likewise, every day we are seeing these two phenomena, no? While we are heating the water on the stove, we see when it attains 100 degrees centigrade, we shall see the boiling, and we are putting some cloths, no, wet cloths, they are getting dry, then we are seeing evaporation. Likewise, don't be panic, just see the differences, and you are seeing in your day to day life, no, just see those differences and try to write down. Okay. Now, let us see applications of evaporation. That is a very important concept, applications of evaporation. In the examination, they will ask you one application and what it is going on, otherwise they will ask you predict the reason, what is the for this sort of observation also. Likewise, they will ask you, and I will show you some applications. And here you are seeing some wet cloths, no, after some time the wet cloths will dry. Here see, we can see the water molecules are escaping from the surface of the cloths. In the examination, they will ask you, when wet cloths dry, you will notice that water in the cloths disappears. Where does the water go? Predict the reason for the disappearance of water. Like that they will ask you, and I will give you some other example. The panting of dog, no, like that, ha ha, like that, no, you can see. Then explain why dogs pant during hot summer days using the concept of evaporation. మీకు పిల్లలకు మీకు ఒక విషయం చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నానమ్మా. ప్రతి అప్లికేషన్కి కూడా మీరు ప్రతి అప్లికేషన్కి ఆన్సర్ని చదవద్దు. ఇప్పుడు స్పెసిఫిక్ హీట్ అప్లికేషన్కి ఒక కామన్ ఆన్సర్ అనేది మనం రాసుకోవచ్చు. అలాగే అప్లికేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇవాపరేషన్కి ఒక కామన్ ఆన్సర్ అనేది రాసుకోవచ్చు. అప్లికేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ కండెన్సేషన్కి ఒక కామన్ ఆన్సర్ అంటే ఎ లిటిల్ బిట్ ఆఫ్ వేరియేషన్తో మనం రాసుకోవచ్చు. మీరు నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ చదవడం వల్ల మీరు ఫిజిక్స్ అంటే కష్టంగా ఫీల్ అవుతున్నారు. జస్ట్ ట్రై టు రీడ్ ద ప్రిన్సిపల్ and according to the principle what is going to be happened, just note down those issues and try to answer those, but don't try to read all the questions. Yes, applications of evaporation, a common phenomena will be there, some common issues will be there, like this you have to identify. Okay. Now see, here a part is there, no, the water in the new pot will be cool. Why? If you put some nail polish on your nails, you will feel very cool. While we are getting sweat, we shall feel cool. Why? Like that they will ask you. While here we are pouring a drop of spirit on our hand. Take a few drops of spirit on your hand using a dropper. Why does your skin become colder? After some time spirit will disappear. They will ask you why we are feeling cool, or after some time spirit will disappear. Why? They will ask these two questions also in this application. And here see, we are pouring the water on the floor. After some time the water will disappear. In the summer you can see very nicely, when a floor of room washed with the water on the floor disappears within minutes. Why? See how many applications. They will ask you some more applications also in your daily life, not these applications only, some more applications also they will ask you. Now I am consolidating all the applications of condensation here, evaporation, sorry, all the applications of evaporation. That means drying of cloths, panting of dog, and a new part, and spirit on the hand, when we poured spirit on the hand, when we pour the water on the floor, and the evaporation of water from the rivers and oceans, like that. What is the answer we have to write? For all these applications of evaporation, which answer you have to write? That is principle evaporation. What is evaporation? Then you have to mention the process of escaping molecules from the surface of liquid at any temperature is called evaporation. Afterwards, evaporation is a cooling process. Why evaporation is a cooling process also, you have to write, you can write this answer also. Because the particles of liquid continuously give up their energy to the particles that are escaping from the surface. So here again I am repeating, because the particles of liquid continuously give up their energy to the particles that are escaping from the surface. So, we shall feel some sort of coolness. So, evaporation is a cooling process. Again, now you will get some doubt. Already you told for every application we can write a common strategy, we can answer in a common strategy. If I ask why dogs pant, dogs are panting in summer, like that. Then principal evaporation, the process of escaping molecules from the surface of a liquid at any temperature is called evaporation. Because the particles of the liquid present on the tongue of the dog, here we are seeing example about the panting of dog, no, that is on the tongue of the dog, no, because the particles of liquid present on the tongue of the dog continuously give up their energy to the particles that are escaping from the surface. So, we are feeling some sort of cool feeling. So, for the sake of coolness, the dogs will pant like that. If they ask you why the water poured on the floor will disappear, then also you can write principle, evaporation, and the process of escaping molecules from the surface of liquid at any temperature is called evaporation. And now you can write the particles of liquid on the floor continuously give up their energy to the particles that are escaping from the floor. That means due to evaporation. And now you can't write this also, just the process of escaping molecules from the surface of liquid at any temperature is called evaporation. Due to evaporation, the particles are escaping at any temperature. That means you can write it nicely. If they ask you why we are getting the cool feeling, then only you have to write the second sentence also. If they ask you why the water disappears, why the spirit disappears, why the water present in the ocean it will evaporate, like that. If they will ask you principal evaporation, the process of escaping molecules at any time from the surface of liquid at any temperature is called evaporation. That is nice. Here the water molecules are escaping as a gaseous molecules, like that you can write. If they ask you while the dogs pant, while you are cool, when you kept some drops of spirit on your hand, why you are feeling cool, like that. If they ask you why you are feeling cool, then only you have to write these two sentences what I told you regarding the evaporation and why evaporation is a cooling process. Also I gave the second sentence, no, these two sentences you have to write down. That means for every application of evaporation we can follow a common strategy. If they will ask you some other, no, you write so many applications of evaporation, they ask you one more application, then how can you write? That means first of all you have to understand what the strategy, what is going on in the evaporation and what they asked you. First of all you have to see the question. In the questioning pattern, you have to follow the questioning pattern also. What they asked in the question, what is the process involved, what is the inner process, what is going on. Just based on this, try to write the answers. Don't mug up the answers. For every question you have to write, you have to mug up the answer. Then no, don't try to write the answer. Physics lo meeku okate చెప్తున్నానమ్మా, మీరు ఎన్ని పేరాలు ఎన్ని పేజీలు రాశారనేది కాదు, అక్కడ ఏం జరుగుతుంది ఒక కామన్ ఫినామినా తెలుసుకొని కొన్ని ట్యాగ్స్ తయారు చేసి పెట్టుకోండి. అదే ఫిజిక్స్లో ఉన్న టిప్స్. అదే ఇప్పుడు మీరు అప్లికేషన్స్ అన్నిటికీ ఇప్పుడు నేను ఒక చిన్న టిప్ చెప్పాను కదా, అలాగే అప్లికేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ స్పెసిఫిక్కి నేను 2 ట్యాగ్స్ చెప్పాను కదా, అలాగే మీరు కొన్ని డెఫినిషన్స్, వాటి యూనిట్స్, ఫార్ములాసు ఒక చోట రాసి పెట్టుకొని, అలాగే అప్లికేషన్స్, ట్రై టు రైట్ ఆల్ ద అప్లికేషన్స్. జస్ట్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద అప్లికేషన్స్ యూ ఫౌండ్ అవుట్, రైట్ ఆన్ ఎ పేపర్. Likewise, you have, because this is the examination time, you have to follow some sort of easy techniques and easy tips also. Don't try to read all the questions what are there in your given materials or some sort of papers. Okay. Now we can see what are the factors affecting evaporation. This is a very important question. They will, based on this top concept, they will ask you 2 marks experiment also. There are 4 factors, that is temperature, surface area, humidity, wind speed. You have to note down these 4 factors, factors affecting evaporation: temperature, surface area, humidity, wind speed. Now you can see surface area. Now they will ask you one question like this: suggest an experiment to prove that the rate of evaporation of a liquid depends upon its surface area. They ask you 2 marks question. You have to read this one. Don't read these type of don't mug up these type of experiment. Experiment means what you observed. How can you do the experiment? What are the aim? What are the apparatus? What are the procedure? What are the precautions? And what is the principle involved? And what are the observations? And what is the final result? Only you have to know that one. Just here you can take aim to prove that the rate of evaporation of a liquid depends upon its surface area. In the question only that is there, no? And here apparatus we had taken a glass and a bowl, which that vary in a surface area. The surface area of bowl is more and the surface area of glass is very less. Okay? And apparatus and procedure. I had taken 50 ml of spirit or anything, you can write the same substance in glass and bowl, and afterwards I kept aside, and afterwards after 2 or 3 hours or 6 hours I observed there will be a less amount of substance in the bowl. Only that which the because here నేను ఒకటేనమ్మా మీకు చెప్పేది, ఒక ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ రాసేటప్పుడు 2 మార్క్స్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్స్కి ఎప్పుడు కూడా చదవాలని పెట్టుకోవద్దు. అందులో ఏ పారామీటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఇక్కడ సర్ఫేస్ ఏరియాని ఒకదాన్నే మార్చాలి, సేమ్ టెంపరేచర్ దగ్గర ఉండాలి, సేమ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ సబ్స్టెన్స్ దగ్గర ఉండాలి. ఈ కండిషన్స్ అన్ని మిగిలిన వాటిని కాన్స్టెంట్గా మనం చూపించి ఏదైతే మనం మార్చాలో దాన్ని మాత్రమే మారుస్తున్నట్టుగా ప్రొసీజర్లో రాస్తే సరిపోతుంది. అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. హియర్ ఐ హ్యాడ్ టేకెన్ ఏ గ్లాస్ అండ్ ఎ బౌల్ అండ్ ద సేమ్ సబ్స్టెన్స్ ఎట్ ద సేమ్ టెంపరేచర్ and the same amount of substance, that you have to mention. Then in the observations what you are going to write, the amount of substance present in the bowl is very less because the result. So I confirm that the rate of evaporation of a liquid depends upon surface area. That means if the surface area is more, the rate of evaporation is more. And again, like the humidity also, they will ask you the rate of evaporation of a liquid depends upon humidity. Here we can see, okay, here, and I had taken 2 bowls, the same bowls, same bowls and same bowls and same objects I kept. In one thing I kept a lid, and then the second one I could not keep the lid also. I had taken away the lid, and afterwards, and it is exposed to the humidity which is in the surrounding atmosphere. Likewise, you can write the aim, that is what is there in the question, apparatus what you are going to take, what is there you are using in the experiment. You can write those experiments. Only you can write the apparatus what you are using, but not the in the textbook those apparatus are there. And for these type of experiments you can write it your own, and you can think it of also, and write the procedure and observation. And what is the observation you can write, and what is the result also you can write like this. And here wind speed, and a fan is kept is there, and same type of bowls and same substance and the same temperature, and I kept for one bowl I exposed to fan air of the fan, and so the second substance I could not expose the fan air from the fan, and I kept aside. And what I observed here, what is the aim of the experiment, the rate of evaporation depends upon the surface area, and what are the apparatus, and some 2 bowls with the same substance, with the same amount, and with the same which are at the same temperature, and a fan. Now you have to write the procedure. I exposed one bowl with the air from the fan, and I kept aside the second bowl without reaching the air from the fan, like that. What observation, what you observe, the rate of the temperature the rate of evaporation is more when the wind speed is more, like that you can write. And you can write the conclusion what you observed, that the rate of evaporation depends upon the wind speed, like that also you can write. In these 2 marks questions you should not mug up, just write, just think it of what is going on in the experiment and try to write the experiment at your own, but do not mug up. So, this experiment I have to mug up and we have to write and చూడకుండా రాయాలి, చూసి రాయాలి, they are not like that. Just ఆ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్లో ఏమేమి వాడాలి, ఎలా వాడుతున్నారు ఏమిటి, try to write it your own. That is the aim of the experiment, no? Okay, these are the, okay, here I gave you same amount of liquid exposed to atmosphere for the same amount of time and which are at the same temperature also, okay, and try to some parameters, what are the parameters kept to be constant, you have to put in your brain, and what are the parameters that are to be varied. అంటే ఏవి మీరు అంటే మనం ఒక ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ చేసేటప్పుడు కొన్ని పారామీటర్స్ కాన్స్టెంట్గా ఏమేమి ఉంచుకోవాలి అనేది మాత్రం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఏ పారామీటర్స్ని చేంజ్ చేస్తున్నాం అనేది మనం చూసుకోవాలి. కాబట్టి దాన్ని బట్టి వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు రైట్ ద ఎక్స్పెరిమెంట్ ఎట్ యువర్ ఓన్. ఓకే, ఓకే, నౌ లెట్ us sum up the factors affecting evaporation. Temperature, by rising the temperature the rate of evaporation also increases, and temperature is also one type, that means at constant temperature I told no that for the parameter I kept the constant. If I didn't kept the parameter constant, that will affect the surface area also, that means affect the evaporation also, that means surface area. The rate of evaporation can be affected by increasing and decreasing the surface area. And humidity, when humidity increases the rate of evaporation decreases, and the speed of wind need kinetic energy to flow. If the speed of wind will be more than the kinetic energy and the temperature will be also more, so the rate of evaporation will be more. Nature of the liquid, and already we learnt about the rate of evaporation depends upon the nature of the liquid, no? That is the interparticle force of attraction. Do not need to study all these issues, only just I am giving for your information, for the sake of information only. Just what is the relation, just observe the relation between the surface area and rate of evaporation, and humidity and rate of evaporation, and speed of wind and rate of evaporation, and in the activity mode you have to present that information, how to do the activity on your own. Do not try to mug up all these experiments as this question, that question, like that. You have, do not be like that. In this session what we discussed, applications of evaporation, and what are the factors that will affect the rate of evaporation, and if in the examination if they asked an experiment, prove that the rate of evaporation depends upon surface area or humidity, like that, how to write the experiment as our own, like that. You already we discussed about the issues. In the coming within 10 minutes, within 1 minute we shall continue that one with the other aspects also. Okay.
శ్రీ గణపతిని సేవింపరారే శ్రితమానవులార సేవింపరారే శ్రితమానవులార పనస నారికేళాది జంబు ఫలముల నారగించి పనస నారికేళాది జంబు ఫలముల నారగించి ఘనతరంబుగను మహిపై పదములు ఘల్లు ఘల్లన నుంచి అనయము హరి చరణయుగములను హృదయాంబుజమున నెల్చి వినయమునను త్యాగరాజ వినుతుడు వివిధ